Hi guys, welcome to AK PrintTech Hub. I am Arun and this is one of our foundation series. Today we go back to the very beginning. What is printing and why does it matter? And how do the four major printing process actually work? Whether you are new to this industry, working in packaging or just curious about how the products are made around you, this episode is for you. Let's get started.
So, what exactly is printing? At its core, printing is the process of transferring text, images, or designs onto a material using ink and a machine. That material could be paper, plastic film, metal foil, fabric, or cardboard. The material changes. The principle stays the same. Here is the simplest way I can put it. Printing is how a design becomes a physical product. Think about the cereal box you had for breakfast, the water bottle on your desk, the medicine strip in your first aid kit. Every color, every logo, every instruction you see on those products, that is printing. And that is why this industry touches every sector: food and beverages, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, electronics, and advertising. Printing is everywhere. You just never noticed it until now. Some people think printing is just about putting ink on paper. I want to change that idea completely. Printing serves four very important roles for every business. First, it helps share information: books, newspapers, manuals, educational material. Knowledge has a physical form, and printing gives it that form. Second, it promotes products. Every brochure, poster, flyer, and billboard you see on the street is a printed piece. It is the most visible form of real world marketing. Third, it identifies products. Labels, barcodes, and packaging tell the consumer what the product is, what is inside, and who made it. Printing gives every product its identity. And fourth, it protects products. Packaging with the right instructions, safety warnings, and branding does not just communicate, it also protects the product physically and legally. Without printing, a product has no identity, no information, and no presence on the shelf. Now let us look at the four main printing methods, and we start with one of the most widely used, offset lithography. But before we talk about how it works, I want to explain something that most people never think about. Where does the name actually come from? Let us break it down into two parts: offset and lithography. Lithography comes from two Greek words: lithos, meaning stone, and graphia, meaning writing. Originally, way back in 1796, the process used a flat limestone surface to hold the image. The stone was treated so that the image area would accept ink and the non image area would repel it. That is where lithography gets its name: writing on stone. Today, we do not use stone anymore. We use thin metal plates, usually aluminium, but the name stayed because the chemistry is the same. Now, what about the word offset? This is the key part of how the modern process works. In a direct printing process, the ink goes straight from the plate onto the paper. But in offset printing, the ink does not go directly, it takes a detour. Here is what actually happens: the ink is picked up by the plate cylinder, but instead of pressing directly onto the paper, it first transfers onto a rubber blanket cylinder, and then, only after that, the blanket cylinder presses the ink onto the paper or substrate. So the ink is offset, meaning it is moved to one side first onto the blanket before it reaches the final surface. That detour is the reason for the name, offset. Why do it this way? Because the rubber blanket is soft and flexible. It conforms to the surface of the paper, even if the paper has a slight texture. The result is a much sharper and more consistent print compared to pressing a hard metal plate directly onto paper. So, to summarize the name, litho because it uses the same chemistry as the original stone process; offset because the ink is transferred via a rubber blanket before reaching the paper. This process is best suited for books, magazines, catalogs, and newspapers. Any high volume job where you need consistent, sharp color across thousands of copies. If your run length is above 1000 copies and color accuracy matters, offset lithography is the right choice. Next, we have flexography, or as we say in the industry, flexo. Flexo is the backbone of the packaging industry. If you work in labels, pouches, films, or corrugated boxes, you are working in a flexo world. What makes Flexo different? It uses flexible photopolymer plates. These are rubber-like plates that wrap around a cylinder. The image area is raised on the plate, and that raised surface transfers ink onto the substrate. Flexo can print on almost anything: paper, plastic films, aluminum foil, and even corrugated board. The inks used are fast drying, either water-based or solvent-based, which allows the press to run at very high speeds. Speed, versatility, and compatibility with a wide range of materials. That is the strength of flexography. Globally, Flexo dominates in label printing and flexible packaging. If you are in this region, understanding Flexo is not optional, it is essential. Now we come to gravure printing, also called rotogravure. And honestly, this is a process that impresses me every time I think about it. Unlike Flexo, where the image is raised on the plate, Gravure works the complete opposite way. The image is engraved, physically cut into the surface of a metal cylinder. Those engraved areas, we call them cells, hold the ink. When the cylinder rotates, it dips into an ink tray and picks up ink inside those cells. A blade then wipes off the excess from the surface, and then the ink inside the cells transfers directly onto the substrate under pressure. Why does this matter? Because gravure produces extraordinary image quality and color consistency, even across very long production runs of hundreds of thousands of meters. Where is it used? Flexible packaging mostly. Your snack wrappers, ready meal pouches, chocolate wrapping. Also decorative laminates, wallpapers, and gift wrap. The limitation of gravure is the cost of making the cylinder. Engraving a gravure cylinder takes time and money, so it only makes commercial sense for very long runs. But when quality and consistency at massive volumes is the requirement, nothing beats gravure. And now the newest of the four, digital printing. Digital printing is completely different from everything we have talked about so far. There is no plate, no cylinder to prepare, no lengthy setup at all. You send a file from a computer and the machine prints it. That is really it. Because there is no plate, setup time is very short. You can start printing within minutes. This makes digital the perfect choice for short runs and customized jobs. And here is something that no other process can do: variable data printing. Every single printed copy can be different: a different name, a different barcode, a different design on every piece. This is used in personalized packaging, pharmaceutical serialization, and direct mail. Digital is cost effective when quantities are small, typically below 500 to 1000 copies. Above that, conventional processes become more economical. But digital is growing fast, especially in labels, short run packaging, and on demand print applications. It is a process you cannot ignore. Now that we know the four printing methods, let us take a step back and look at the bigger picture. How does the full printing process flow from start to finish? There are three main stages, and every printed product in the world, whether it is a book, a label, or a flexible pouch, goes through all three. Stage 1 is prepress. This is everything that happens before ink touches any material: artwork preparation, color separation, file correction, and plate or cylinder making. Prepress is where the job is set up for success or for failure. Get this wrong and no amount of press skill will save you. Stage 2 is press. This is where the machine runs, ink is applied to the substrate, and the printed product is made. Everything from pre-press is now being tested in real time. Stage 3 is post-press. The job is printed, but it is not finished yet. It still needs to go through cutting, die cutting, lamination, folding, binding, and final quality inspection before it reaches the customer. Pre-press, press, post-press. These three stages are the spine of every printing operation, no matter what process or product you are working with. All right, let us bring everything together. Point 1. Printing is the transfer of designs onto materials like paper, plastic, fabric, and foil. It is how every physical product gets its identity. Point 2. Printing is used in food, pharmaceuticals, electronics, cosmetics, and advertising. Every industry depends on it. Point 3. There are four main printing methods: offset for high volume commercial print, Flexo for packaging, Gravure for premium long-run flexible packaging, and digital for short runs and customization. Point 4. Every print job moves through 3 stages: pre-press, press, and post-press. And point 5. Printing is essential for branding, communication, and packaging in every part of our world. In the next episode, we go deeper. We will take a close look at offset lithography and understand exactly how the press works in a real production environment. If this video gave you value, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone in the printing and packaging industry who needs this content.
Thank you. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching AK PrintTech Hub.